Hello everyone, welcome back to Lifelens TV. I'm Jennifer Harrison, your host, and today we are diving deep into a subject that has captured the attention of farmers across Kenya, especially those in the tea-growing regions. This is a story of promises, broken expectations, and a scandal that could be brewing right under our noses. Recently, the Mat Kenya Queen herself, Honourable Gathoni Wamuchomba, took to her X account, formerly known as Twitter, to make some explosive claims. She said, and I quote, "You are busy impeaching Gachagua, Ndio Asitangaze, so he doesn't announce, vile how subsidised fertiliser was a scam for your stomachs. It was to be sold to tea farmers at Kenyan shillings 2,500 per bag. You are now planning to deduct Kenyan shillings 3,500 per bag. Nini. What is this? Between KTDA and MOG, who's playing us? You are waiting for the farmer's bonus, Ndio Mukate, so you can slice, next week. I will speak for my farmers irrespective. Ooh, I forgot, impeaching DP will reduce the cost of living. So, ladies and gentlemen, what exactly does Wamuchomba mean by this? What is she talking about when she claims that the government is planning to deduct 3,500 Kenya shillings per bag of fertiliser from farmers? Let's break it down. First off, Wamuchomba's concerns highlight an alarming issue that directly impacts tea farmers across the country. What she's essentially saying is that farmers, who were promised subsidised fertiliser at 2,500 Kenya shillings per bag, are now going to see 3,500 Kenya shillings deducted from their earnings for each bag of fertiliser they received. This means that instead of paying a lower price for the fertiliser, they are facing a higher deduction from their bonus payments, which are a crucial part of their annual income. To better understand the situation, let's look at the Kenya Tea Development Agency, KTDA memorandum that was recently circulated. Here's what the letter says. Kenya Tea Development Agency, Holdings, Ltd Inter-Office Memorandum. From Group Head, Corporate Affairs to Factory Unit Managers. Date 09/10/2024. Fertilizer Deductions and Delivery of Second Shipment. The ship carrying the second and final batch of NPK fertilizer for smallholder tea farmers is set to dock at the Mombasa port at the end of next week. The expected arrival of the vessel carrying approximately 120 metric tons on October 18th follows the receipt of the first batch. Distribution of the 47,390 metric tons received from the first shipment to farmers is currently ongoing. The arrival and distribution of the fertilizer at the outset of the short rains is necessary to ensure consistent high quality and quantity of green leaf, essential for premium tea production. This year's procurement of 97,000 metric tons marks an increase from last year's 93,000 metric tons. The fertilizer, chemically compounded NPK 2655, is packed in 50 kilos and 25 kilo bags. KTDA procures fertilizer in bulk for more than 700,000 small-scale tea farmers who are shareholders of its managed factories through competitive international bidding. The fertilizer is distributed to the farmers through their respective factories. This arrangement enables small-scale tea farmers to access high-quality fertilizer at the most competitive price and in a reliable manner. The KTDA Fertilizer Credit Scheme enables farmers to pay in instalments for the fertilizer they have ordered for use on their farms. These payments are made over several months to ease the farmer's burden on the purchase of fertilizer, which is a major input cost in tea farming. Any amounts outstanding at the close of the financial year are deducted from the final green leaf payment. Outstanding balances for fertilizer imported for farmers this year will be deducted from their payments during the final payment, popularly known as the bonus, scheduled for next week. The final cost is Kenyan shillings 3,400 per 50 kilo bag of fertilizer. Partial payments previously recovered through fertilizer supply deductions will be netted off against this amount. Deductions will be made based on the quantities of fertilizer each farmer applied for. A reconciliation will then be carried out to verify the number of fertilizer bags received against amounts deducted. Ndiga Kithe, Row 9/10/2024. Now let's break down what this letter means. The KTDA is informing farmers that a second shipment of fertilizer is arriving at the Mombasa port, with about 50,120 metric tons of fertilizer set for distribution. The fertilizer, which is an NPK compound and packed in 50 kilos bags, is distributed to over 700,000 small-scale tea farmers. These farmers, who are shareholders of KTDA-managed factories, will have the fertilizer delivered to them through their respective factories. But here's where the issue arises. The letter clearly states that the final cost per 50 kilogram bag of fertilizer is 3,400 Kenya shillings. That's already 900 Kenya shillings, more than what President Ruto promised farmers during his inauguration speech. Let's take a step back to September 13th, 2022.
We anchored our campaign.
If we roll back the clock to September 13th, 2022, during President William Ruto's inauguration at Kasarani, he made a clear and direct promise to all Kenyans, especially farmers. He said that fertilizer would be subsidized and sold at 2,500 Kenya shillings per 50 kilos bag to help ease the burden on farmers and improve agricultural production. At the time, this was a welcome relief to many farmers who were grappling with high input costs. The promise of affordable fertilizer was seen as a move that could increase production, reduce costs, and ultimately boost the incomes of farmers. But fast forward to today, and it seems like things have taken a different turn. 3,400 per bag is what KTDA is deducting, and Wamuchomba claims it might even be 3,500 Kenya shillings per bag. This is almost 1,000 Kenya shillings more than what was promised. The very subsidy that was meant to help farmers now feels like it's slipping through their fingers. Is this a scam? So, what happened? How did we go from a promise of affordable fertilizer at 2,500 Kenya shillings to these higher costs being deducted from farmers' payments? This is where the question of corruption or mismanagement comes in. Wamuchomba suggests that the extra 1,000 Kenya shillings per bag could be going into certain individuals' pockets instead of benefiting the farmers. If true, this would mean that while the government is still paying the subsidy, the real benefit isn't reaching the farmers as intended. Instead, a select few might be profiting at the expense of the smallholder farmers who rely on these subsidies to keep their costs low. What this means for farmers. For many tea farmers, this situation is devastating. Their bonus payments, commonly known as bonga, are a vital source of income, and they look forward to receiving them after months of hard work. However, with these fertilizer deductions set to be made from their bonuses, farmers are going to see less money in their pockets. The KTDA letter even states that outstanding balances from fertilizer deliveries will be deducted during the final payment next week. This is money that farmers were counting on to support their families, reinvest in their farms, and improve their livelihoods. So, instead of receiving the full benefit of the subsidized fertilizer that President Ruto promised, farmers are facing higher deductions and lower payouts. And as Wamuchomba said, "You are waiting for the farmer's bonus dio mukate." This implies that some are waiting to take a slice of what should rightfully belong to the farmers. To wrap this up, this situation raises serious questions about the promises made to farmers and whether those promises are being kept. If the subsidized fertilizer was supposed to cost 2,500 Kenya shillings, why are farmers now being charged 3,400 Kenya shillings or even 3,500 Kenya shillings? And more importantly, who is benefiting from this extra 1,000 Kenya shillings per bag? Farmers are the backbone of our country, and they deserve transparency and fairness. If we are to take Wamuchomba's claims seriously, there needs to be an immediate investigation into how this fertilizer scheme is being handled and whether the promises made to farmers are being upheld. We'll keep following this story closely to ensure that the truth comes out, and as always, we'll be here to give you the facts. Thank you for tuning into Lifelens TV. I'm Jennifer Harrison, and until next time, let's keep holding our leaders accountable.